Hello and welcome to the Ladies Best Life podcast. I hope you're feeling incredible today. Now, I just want to jump on because we are only like 15 episodes from our 100th episode. Can you believe it? It's been incredible doing this so far. But I have a favor to ask you. So many of you message me and go, "Oh my God, I love your podcast. It's so good. It's so useful." But hardly any people will rate it on Apple or whatever it is, like even Spotify. So please, firstly, can you go and do that? Secondly, if you're active on social media, if you could share it to your story, give me a tag or whatever, just so we can spread the word a little bit more. I'm not going to be bringing in any adverts or anything like that to this podcast, but I would love it if we can share the love. So I'd love it if you could. Appreciate you as always. Now, today's topic is coming from a conversation that I had last week. I was talking to a friend who has been in many coaching arenas himself, and we were talking about one coaching program that he's been through in particular. This is a business coaching room, and it's a room that helps you to develop better systems and to basically make your business more streamlined and efficient. And I was like, oh, so tell me about it. I love learning about different ways, because I think if I can learn about how other people do things, I could take little ideas for myself. Like, even though it is a business program and coaching club is not, you can still learn things. I think you can learn from many things in life. And if you can have an open mind, even more so. So he's telling me the ins and outs of it, right? And it's basically you join up and it's a year-long program, but you can do shorter ones as well, right? And you get assigned a coach straight away. So you don't join up with the main woman. You basically just get assigned a coach, which is absolutely fine. That is the way that most of us do it. You then have 4 live sessions a week, where one is like a Q&A, and that is with the top dog, if you like, herself. Then you have like a mastermind session where you all come together and problem solve. Then you have like a guest expert coming in, and then you have another mastermind. So far we've got you get assigned a one-to-one coach, you have live sessions every single week, you have a one-to-one call every single month, that if you don't book it in with your coach, it doesn't happen. So they don't hold you accountable for it. There is no way to track what you're doing as the customer. There is no way to kind of monitor your progress. There is no real accountability. Okay. And I was listening to this and I was like, if you don't mind me asking, can you just possibly tell me how much you pay for that? I was thinking, business coaching generally tends to be more than lifestyle coaching. So I was thinking maybe it's like $8,000 for the year. Oh no, honeys. 34 grand for the year. 34 grand. So I was like, interesting. Like, why? What makes it worth that? And they were like, I don't actually really know. You jump on a typical kind of connection / sales call in the beginning. You look at where your business may be needing to be streamlined a little bit. You jump on, you get assigned that coach. You have the weekly calls where there's no accountability to rock up to them. You have the monthly calls with your assigned coach where there's no accountability to rock up to them. And then you're not tracking any KPIs. Like in fat loss realms, we would be tracking your progress or your habits, And I was like, wow. So then I was like, okay, so this person in particular hasn't really implemented anything from it. Oh, you also have access to 3 of their live events every single year over in America, and they are like a tiny bit of training and tutorial from the top dog herself. And also the rest of the mastermind is literally spent masterminding with fellow people like yourself. Okay. So I said to him, what have you got from it? And he couldn't really, say too much. And I do think like there is in any coaching program, they are not fucking magicians, right? They are, I say they as in like we are not magicians. You have to, if you're inside a coaching program like I am, I'm with Jo, I work very closely with another girl on female health as well. We have to take responsibility to do the work. We can't just sit back and, as a client, we can't just kind of hope that they're going to wave a magic wand. And I get it, like sometimes life is busy, sometimes it can be really hard to really think about what you need to get from the program and how you want to implement these things. So I do understand that the onus is actually not on the coach. The responsibility is fully in the client. So I said to this guy, I was like, so tell me about the people in there. So if you've gone in and you haven't really implemented and you've just put down 34K, what are the other people in there like? I was like, are they progressing? He's like, yeah, some people definitely progress. And I was like, what's the bulk majority like? He's like, to be fair, Sash, I think it's just very much like they can afford 34K, so they just pay it. It's almost like a status thing. And I sat there and I was like, reflected, I thought, and then this thing hit me and I was like a fucking steam train. You know what I'm like this boom, like moment came to my mind and I was like, I do not want clients like that ever. I do not want people to pay the coaching club money, to come in, to pay and invest money just to soothe themselves or just because they can. And like, don't get me wrong, like we are scaling up Coaching Club in regards to how luxurious the brand is. We are taking things up a notch. We are really tidying up the customer journey. Like we are constantly iterating the Coaching Club journey to make it better. But even if we were to go up to, which I don't think we would, but 34K, I would not have people come into the program who are not going to action and implement. And sure, you get some people who join, then shit hits the fan in their life and, you know, for whatever reason, they just can't implement. And that actually happens sometimes and it's okay. So if you're one of those people and you've been for a coaching program and you're maybe thinking, fuck, I didn't do any work. Sometimes, well, you have to give yourself permission to know that that's okay at times. And also, how can you learn from it? You know, could you have asked more questions? If your coach was actually chasing you, which is a big difference between us and that 34 grand program, we are on your tail as much as you want us to be, but we're not micromanagers because we want you to build the trust within yourself. However, within the first kind of like 0 to 8 weeks, that is very much more, for a lot of people, it's much more heavy on the coach's side of things. So we are stronger on the accountability, but we work through this with you and every single person is tailored and the journey is based around them as a whole human rather than just coaching the process of what you normally coach. You generally find that with a lot of coaching programs, it's like, this is what we do. You want it, you have to stick to this. Whereas we're like, this is generally what we do. However, we tailor everything to you. And you'll see so many fucking coaches who say that they do that. But if you were actually to look inside their program, it would be utter bullshit. So just like to think about that for a second. You know, have you ever invested money into something just to soothe yourself? And like, as soon as it's done, you're like, okay, I don't need to do anything now. And generally you find that's what happens with instant gratification. So what we're seeing a lot of at the minute, there's like a two-prong to this. Since COVID, we're seeing a lot of people who are falling victim to instant gratification. So they are buying handbags, they're booking more holidays, they're going out for food more, and they're ordering more parcels and like ordering themselves new shoes and stuff. We're seeing an increase in that, but really ironically, we're seeing a decrease in people's awareness of health. We are seeing people be more careless, more reckless, less people joining gyms. And it's just crazy after we've been through a health pandemic that now it's like, it's almost done the opposite effect. And I think what's happened, because people have gone through big changes, you know, we've been isolated for so long, we've had strict rules on, now it's like people are hitting the fuck it button, but they're forgetting that the one thing that we can't take for granted in life is our health. So it's just a very interesting process. And it really sat and made me reflect, like, we are looking, like I said earlier, we are always looking at developing the coaching club program and making it better, more effective, more efficient. We want to make the boat go faster and all of those wonderful things. But never, ever, ever will I allow this to get to the point where people just come in to soothe themselves, but to also be like a fancy fashion accessory, because that is not what we're about. And in fact, when I was a personal trainer, because people get into the habit and the flow and the process of, I've got a personal trainer, I turn up to the gym, they ask me some questions about my nutrition, I go away, I forget about my personal trainer, I forget about my nutrition, I don't fucking implement, I haven't got lifestyle skills to manage how fucking busy my life is. So I just rock up and I don't ever make progress. And I say that, and my progress with my clients was fucking good. It was very good, but it was still much harder because people weren't fully committed in the hours outside of the gym. And that was one of the biggest reasons why I actually pulled away from personal training. One was selfish, that I didn't want to be stood inside the fucking four walls of a gym any longer because it was soul destroying. For someone like me who loves freedom, loves travel, I needed to make my business work around me. And I strongly recommend, if you're currently in a position where you hate your fucking job, look at ways that you can make another job work for you better. link your career to your values, and your life will be significantly better, and you'll live a life that's on your terms, and it will just make you feel absolutely incredible. But the second prong of reason why I didn't like personal training so much is because that fucking 1 hour once a week or twice a week, or for someone who could 3 times a week, was never enough. I could not get into the minds of the people's lives that I needed to. And that is why we developed the coaching club, and we made it around the 3 pillars. So mindset, body, and lifestyle, because it takes those 3 pillars to create the outcomes that you actually want, the body that you want to be in, the thinking patterns that help you to be in the body that you want to be in, the boundaries, the assertiveness, the structure around your lifestyle, so that you can get the movement in and eat in a way that's right for you. So it's just very interesting. And I wanted to share it with you because there's a couple of reasons that I think why it worked, and it does work for this lady who can charge 34K. People can generally charge whatever they want. Value is a perception. And also credibility. So this lady has got a blue tick. So credibility causes people to think that their investment is safe, or it's going to be worth it, or it's right for them. And I think, like, so because you can get in a rabbit hole with this sort of stuff if you don't just kind of like bite the bullet. If you can look at their results, you can tap into that person and make sure you've got a good connection with them, and then just do your due diligence before actually signing up. I think you are going to be in good hands. And who knows, like, there will be a lot of people that go through that program who will get incredible results, and the 34K will, maybe because it's a business program, it could make them millions, you know, so that is incredible. But it just really made me think about, so why would people pay, you know, say 3 grand for a lifestyle coaching program for 6 months, but then they'd pay 34K for a business coaching program over 12 months and then not implement? You know, what is it? And this is what I'm always speaking to our coaches about. What is it that helps people to implement more? And it's about looking at the barriers, addressing the barriers, not just telling people what to do, not just mentoring them. It's going, right, okay, so the very first thing that we need to do is make it simple. The second thing that we need to do is look at implementation and how we can increase that. So super interesting. But what I want you to take away from this is people will charge and people will pay, sorry. I've written some notes and I can't read them properly. People will pay whatever they believe it's worth. So value is a perception. So some people would look at putting 34K down on a business coaching program as an absolute bargain. Whereas other people would be like, hang on a minute, like, what am I actually going to get for that money? Is it going to be worth the return on investment? So value is a perception. It is a belief. If you believe that that thing is right for you, you will 100% go for it. And this could be like, you could be a business owner listening to this now, undercharging for your service or your product. Just remember that you will sometimes get some people who are like, whoa, that's way too expensive for me. I couldn't possibly afford that. That is not on you. Okay, that person just cannot see the value in that investment for themselves. And that's okay. You're going to have, if you're working with companies, you're going to have some people that will bounce back in regards to a company standpoint because they simply will not go to the level that you're asking for. But people will pay what you're charging and as long as your belief is there. So if you can believe in it, if you can stand by what it is that you charge and the reason for it and what they're going to get for it, and I'm talking to business owners now, it's going to be a no-brainer, you know, or they may need to do a payment plan or something along those lines. And for those of you who are looking to invest maybe in yourself, do your due diligence, have a look around, speak to the people that you're looking to invest in. And one of my favorite things that I personally do when I'm looking at investing, so I've got 2 coaches, like I just said, about one mental performance coach as well. So technically I've got 3, and I've just walked away from a mentorship group. The main thing that I look at is, and this is why I haven't signed up with quite a few business owners, business mentors who've approached me. They don't live the life that I want to live. And I don't mean like identical. They don't live in accordance to how I want to live. So the people that I've got in my corner right now, absolutely, there are so many elements of their lives where I'm like, you are smashing it. You are flying. I love that thing about you. I love the way that you do this. I love your thought process. And I'm very much now stepping into people around me who are positive. They're not based around scarcity. They're not based around you're not doing enough. You couldn't, you know, like comparison to other people. It's all around, you know, you're doing fucking aces. You are. How can we turn the notch a little bit up to make it a little bit better? And every single person in my boardroom right now, I 100% would love to live elements of their lives. So like Jo, for example, is energy. The female coach that I'm working with, it's so much to do with like health and strength. She's an absolute fucking ox, but looks incredible as well. And then my mental performance coach, like his standards and his boundaries are phenomenal, and I absolutely love that. So when you're looking to invest in a coach yourself, think about, what is it about them that I would like to maybe have in my life? Is it her energy? Is it her standards? Is it the fact that she goes against the norm? Is it that she travels when she wants, but she's still able to run a business? Is it because she's caring and compassionate? Or it could be he, you know? So ask yourselves those questions, but just remember, sometimes you have to go through the process of figuring out what's not right before you can find what's right. And we had this, for example, this yesterday, and we had a lady who joined, and she was part of a really fucking big personal training program, if you like, that has constant 4-week challenges. The community was toxic. It was bitchy. There was a load of comparison in there. It kind of, with this particular lady, it almost created a very unhealthy relationship with food. We wouldn't quite call it an eating disorder, but it definitely was borderline. And she had to go through that to realize what she didn't want, to then come and chat to me about Coaching Club and realize the fact that it's a health first standpoint. We do not tolerate any element of fucking bitchiness at all. There is no comparison, because every journey is very different, and we don't do little shitty things like 4-week challenges, because they don't produce long-term results. So if you can learn from that particular client, if you've been with a personal trainer, or maybe you've tried diets, or you've tried other online coaches, or whatever, you know, it is that you're looking to delve into, don't see it as it's a gospel thing, that not because that one program didn't work for you, that none will ever work. That is not the case at all. And if you're in a position where you're stuck, probably the only way you're going to get unstuck is by trying a different slipper. Like Cinderella, right? That first slipper, it didn't fucking fit. Now we're gonna have to try a different slipper, and who knows, I'm pretty sure if you do your due diligence, oh my god, I can't speak today, due diligence, and you actually kind of like do some research, speak to the person in a no pressure zone, I'm sure you will find the right place for you. So I hope that's been insightful today. I love talking about like the way other people do things, and a few other things now to do with instant gratification as well, which is always very interesting. Have an incredible day. Please don't forget to give us a rating and give us a share. We need to spread the love. Have an incredible day. Bye.